is Joy News Prime.
Hello and welcome to the most comprehensive 2 hours of television news in Ghana. My name is Israelite. Tonight on Joy News Prime, Flagstaff House acknowledges receipt of Ford Expedition vehicle from Burkinabe contractor intended as a gift for President Mahama, but says the linkage to government contracts and conflict of interest is absolutely false and untenable. Tonight, we'll premiere the full-length feature put together by Manasseh Zuriawuni, which has got the minority in Parliament talking about initiating impeachment proceedings against the president. The release of the expose, meanwhile, coincides with the passing of the president's mother, Abiba Naba, who the family says died after a long struggle with diabetes.
And in business, inflation inches up marginally to 18.9% in May. We'll tell you what contributed to the increase, plus the performance of the stock, commodity and the currency market.
This bulletin is also available across Europe on ABN television. We'll have sports, entertainment and Joy News Interactive all coming up. Please stay tuned. President Mahama has been named as the recipient of a controversial gift of a Ford vehicle in a possible conflict of interest situation which some political watchers say could constitute bribery. The said vehicle, estimated at about $100,000, was given out by a Burkinabe contractor who has been doing business with government. Amongst the contracts executed by Jibril Kanazoe is the construction of a perimeter wall at the Ghana Embassy in Burkina Faso at the cost of $650,000 and the Dodo Pepeso in Kwanta Road worth nearly 30 million euro. The Flagstaff House has, since the story broke Wednesday morning, acknowledged receipt of the vehicle but refuted the linkage to government contracts and bribery. I'll bring you that reaction from the presidency in a bit. The expose is a result of an investigative piece put together by Joy News' Manasseh Zuriawuni, which took him to Burkina Faso to meet with the contractor Jibril Kanazoe. Tonight, we bring you that exclusive report that's got the whole country talking.
What you have to do is politics. It's not politics. If I buy the plane, you are continuing.
The atmosphere in the air-conditioned office of Jibril Kanazoe, a renowned contractor and businessman in Ouagadougou, is heated. Jibril Kanazoe paused my interview with him and seized the voice recorder. He accused me of trapping him to disclose information he would ordinarily not disclose. I was in Burkina Faso to investigate allegations that he used undue influence to win a contract. He defended the process through which he won the contract and justified the cost of the project. The Ghana Embassy fence wall in Burkina Faso was built around a piece of land that is yet to be developed. The land is about the size of a football pitch and is located at the ambassadorial enclave in Ouagadougou. Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso at the time of the project, Chief Dauda Mandiaya Baumia, said he wrote to Mr. Kanazoe and 2 other contractors to submit quotations for the project. He does not remember the names of the other 2. There are allegations that the contractor who eventually won the contract is his close friend. Chief Baumia does not dispute this claim.
He's my friend and he continues to be my friend because we didn't break up the relationship after I left her.
Mr. Kanazoe explains how he won the contract.
Each institution have his way of managing his contracts matter. We got a letter from the embassy that a bid, and we have sent our quote. We replied to the bid, and we got the contract.
Was it advertised in newspapers or they wrote to you directly?
Oh, they wrote to us. It was not on newspaper.
A former chief executive officer of the Public Procurement Authority, Ajenim Boatiaje, said a contract of this nature should have gone through competitive bidding.
The law has provided for thresholds above which a method is to be used. Now, if you talk of a 650,000 or a 2 million contract or 2 million procurement, the law definitely requires that, one, you cannot use request for quotation because it's got a threshold of 20,000 and above. It could either be a national competitive tendering or international competitive tendering.
He said the Foreign Affairs Ministry could have obtained approval from the Public Procurement Authority if it wanted to use restricted tender.
Restrictive tendering and sole source are methods which are not restricted by value. But then the law makes a clear provides a clear instructions that such methods of procurement must have a prior approval from the Public Procurement Authority.
Attempts to get details of the contract from the Foreign Affairs Ministry yielded no results. The Public Procurement Authority, on the other hand, would not comment on whether the ministry sought approval or not. In the office of Mr. Kanazwe hangs a photograph of him and President John Mahama. Exactly a week before I went to meet him in Burkina Faso, President Mahama had commissioned the 46-kilometer Dodo Pepeso section of the Eastern Corridor Road, Mr. Kanazwe's latest project in Ghana.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank Messrs. Umaru Kanazwe, Contractors Limited of Burkina Faso, for the very high quality of work they have done on this stretch of road. As I said, perhaps this is one of the best quality roads in Ghana today.
Joy News has evidence that Jibril Kanazwe sent a brand new Ford Expedition vehicle to President Mahama in 2012, the year he got the embassy fence wall contract and a 25.9 million euros road contract.
There was this vehicle you gave as a gift in 2012, that's the Ford Expedition. Was it meant for the ambassador or it was meant for the president?
No, that one, I'm not aware of that one. I'm just aware of the wall.
But you also gave a Ford Expedition car to the ambassador, and I want to know who it was intended for.
No, I did not give a Ford Expedition to the ambassador.
In 2012, when the vehicle was given, Ghana's embassy in Burkina Faso wrote a letter ordering border authorities at Paga to allow the vehicle to pass. That letter reads,
I have been directed to inform you that the Ghana mission in Ouagadougou is assisting with the transportation of a gift donated to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, by Mr. Jibril Kanazwe, a renowned contractor in Burkina Faso. The said gift is a Ford Expedition with engine number E173 A190 5101. and chassis number 1FMJ UI J58 AEB 60748. I am to request the competent Ghanaian border authorities at the Paga border to kindly assist with the passage of the said vehicle and those transporting it without any let or hindrance. I wish to take this opportunity on behalf of His Excellency the Ambassador to express the mission's appreciation in anticipation of your kind cooperation. Signed for Head of Mission by Maxwell Nyakonlate, Head of Chancery.
After showing this letter to Mr. Kanazwe, he admitted sending the vehicle to President Mahama.
It is a letter which suggests that you sent a gift of Ford Expedition. The chassis number is quoted
to the
here.
ambassador.
Yes, to be given to the president. This is a chassis
And
number.
this is to the president, not to the ambassador.
Yes, so did you give a gift to the president?
Yes.
You gave a gift?
Yeah.
Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso at the time, Chief Dauda Bawumia, told Joy News he facilitated the passage of the vehicle through the Paga border into Ghana.
When the laissez-passer was issued, I did accompany the car to Bolgatanga, handed it over to the Upper East Regional Minister then to forward it to the president, telling him how the car came, that it was a gift from Jibril Kanazwe.
But you are aware it was handed over to the president?
I handed it over to the then Upper East Regional Minister.
Makoyongo.
Yes, and that is all that I know as at now. But I do believe that, yes, it would have been handed over to the president.
Jibril Kanazwe said President Mahama acknowledged receipt of the vehicle.
He called me, he said, thank you very much.
So after receiving the car, he called you to thank you for the gift?
Yes.
Joy News checks revealed that the said Ford Expedition entered Ghana on October 29, 2012, with one Quadrigo Sheikh Mohammed as the importer. It was declared as a used vehicle and cleared at the Tema SEPS on 13 February 2013 by Vision Logistics Limited, a private clearing agent. A duty of 23,600 Ghana cedis was paid. Details of the person in whose name the vehicle was registered were, however, not found in the systems of the DVLA and Customs when Joy News checked. According to highly placed sources within the DVLA and Customs, the absence of the details meant that the vehicle had either not been registered or that the registration details were deliberately deleted from the records. Joy News sources close to the presidency, however, say the vehicle is in use. On May 16, 2016, I forwarded the questions I intended to ask President Mahama for his side of the story to his spokesperson and communications minister, Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah. After several reminders and interactions, I did not tell the president's advisor on governance, Daniel Batidam, that I was investigating the president, but I sought his views on the provisions of the Code of Ethics, which President Mahama launched in 2013 for his ministers and other political appointees. I asked him about the essence of the code and whether it applied to the conduct of the president.
It's a kind of unified code which defines and gives us some minimum standards that if you are a public official, you have to conduct yourself in certain ways or the other. And these minimum standards apply to public officials at all levels. You were mentioning the president. Including the president. The president is the number one public official of the land. So anything that has to do with the conduct of public officials begins and ends with the president.
The president's conduct seemed to contradict some provision of his own code, as well as the conflict of interest guidelines by Shraj and the Conduct of Public Officers Bill 2013. Mr. Batidam explained why President Mahama's Code of Ethics prohibits ministers of state and other government appointees from accepting gifts from commercial entities.
Because gifts can and do qualify sometimes as bribes. They are a very high potential ground for corruption. And so gifts must be, especially gifts to public officials, must be regulated and must be clearly defined in terms of the quantum and all that.
Conduct of Public Officers Bill 2013, which is awaiting passage into law, also frowns on such gifts. Section 21B of the bill states, and I quote, "A public officer shall not accept a gift, a favor, or an advantage that has the potential to influence the proper discharge of the public officer's functions or judgment from a person with whom the public officer comes into contact in relation to the public officer's functions." Daniel Batidam again.
Because gifts can and do qualify sometimes as bribes. They are a very high potential ground for corruption. And so gifts must be, especially gifts to public officials, must be regulated and must be clearly defined in terms of the quantum and all that.
Speaking generally on conflict of interest and gifts by public officials, former Commissioner of Shraj, Justice Emil Short, explained the difference between accepted and prohibited gifts.
Now, the gifts which are allowed include unsolicited gifts of souvenir, gifts from family members on the basis of family relationships only. Those are the accepted gifts. Now, it also provides, the guidelines also provide that whenever a public official is confronted with a gift, he or she should consider the following checklist. There are a number of factors that the public officer has to take into consideration in deciding whether to accept the gift. For example, there's a long list. I don't know whether... Okay. Is this gift in appreciation for something I have done in my role as a public official and not sought or encouraged by me? And this is a very important one. If I accepted this gift, would a reasonable person have any doubt that I would be independent in doing my job in the future
when the person responsible for this gift is involved or affected. Another important consideration is, if I accepted this gift, would I feel free of any obligation to do something in return for the person responsible for the gift, or for his or her family or friends or associates? Then again, am I prepared to declare this gift and its source transparently to my organization and to the Internal Revenue Service? Because gifts have to be declared also to the Internal Revenue Service. And then, will the donor expect something substantial from me in return? And lastly, is an attempt being made to persuade me to do something that is prohibited by law or contrary to regulations of my organization's policy, or is an attempt being made to gain an unfair competitive advantage by influencing my discretionary decisions?
He said the line between gifts and bribes is a thin one.
For example, I dealt with a case while in office in which the MD of the Ghana Reinsurance Company had accepted $96,000 for changing the insurance broker for the insurance company of Ghana Airways at the time when Ghana Airways was operating. It was a complaint which was brought by Kweku Baako to Shraj. And the person, the public officer, thought it was a gift. But he had succeeded in getting a better deal for the Ghana Airways Corporation in changing the insurance premium. But we held that it was a bribe. It wasn't a gift, and it cannot be considered a gift.
Gifts have a potential to influence policymakers. So if you find yourself in public office, if you find yourself in a position of trust, then it is important for us to look at the issue of gift from a different perspective, from a more policy-oriented perspective, and to draw the line where a gift is acceptable, and where it is a gift should not be accepted.
Can a gift to a public officer amount to a conflict of interest? Emil Schultz explains.
If the gift is given with the intention of influencing the exercise of the public officer's duties, then obviously it's a bribe. And also, you see, normally gifts are given openly. Okay, like if you go to a chief's palace, you give a gift openly. Also, the amount of the gift of the so-called gift would be significant. Normally gifts are token amounts. But if you won't go to the chief's palace and give a brand new vehicle or $20,000 or even CDs, so you have to look also at the amount, and you have to look at what the person giving the gift intends to achieve by giving the gift.
You have been in the crusade against corruption for quite a long time. You are working at the presidency now. So if, let's say, President Mahama comes to you and said, Mr. Batidam, there's this contractor who does business with government, and he wants to give me a gift of, let's say, over $100,000 US.
Yeah.
Should I accept this gift or not? What advice would you give to the president?
Well, I'm sure you know that these are not situations that would occur in reality in terms of the kind of president we have and so on. But just as a hypothetical situation,
yes.
I think it's obvious. It's obvious that any leader, any president, or not even a president, a minister, a responsible public servant would know that could put him or her in a situation of not just conflict of interest, but potentially being corrupted. And so I think it goes without saying that you cannot take gifts from sources that have the potential of influencing your decision making. It's just not it's not acceptable, and I think a responsible leader, minister, senior public servant, would not need to be advised on that.
Jibril Kanazwe has argued that he gave the gift to President Mahama as a personal friend. That friendship started when President Mahama was Ghana's vice president and when Mr. Kanazwe wanted a road contract in Ghana but did not get it in his first attempt.
The people from Mechanical Oil, somebody was my friend there, and my friend helped me to set this company. His name is Mopopo. You understand? So my friend called Mike Edu is a contractor, Mikado. So when we went there, he told me to come and do the roads in Ghana because he came to visit my road here. So we made the first tender. When we made the first tender, we didn't win. One day he told me he know the vice president, let's go to salute him. We went to salute him and I showed him what we did in Burkina Faso. And we became friends. We talk a lot. One day my father died and he sent a delegation to our family and to salute us and to give us some money. You understand? And the family was happy. And they say the president, now he became president. When he became president, my family say, oh, let's send him a car as a gift. And we send him a car. It's not a bribe. Is it a bribe?
Mr. Kanazwe has also argued that he won the contracts on merit. But according to Daniel Batidam, if a public officer puts himself in a conflict of interest situation, there are still grounds to question contracts that are supposedly won through competitive bidding. So, is the president's gift a bribe, a conflict of interest, or both? Justice Emil Schott says, for conflict of interest to occur, one does not need to prove that the gift actually influenced the action of the public officer.
It's not necessary to prove that the public officer's exercise of his or her duty or functions has been influenced, but if the conduct appears or has the potential to give that impression, then it also constitutes conflict of interest.
It behoves on all responsible public officials, ministers, political appointees, senior public servants, to examine the motives for which gifts are being brought to them. I mean, it would be, unacceptable for me in a certain position to say that I do not understand or I didn't know that the gift being brought to me was meant to influence me. I think that would be unacceptable. So
in this situation, hypothetical situation I cited, could that gift be meant to influence the president if it comes from someone who does business with the government?
Certainly, if there is grounds to believe that, or if it is common knowledge that the person bringing the gift has an interest that could have motivated the gift in the first place, then it's obvious that the receiver, the public servant, be he president, minister, should exercise better judgment and say, you know what, I can't take this gift. But like I said, the truth of the matter is that in our society, these gifts are not given transparently. They are not even given transparently.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Roads and Highways is set to give Umaru Kanazwe Construction Limited a 28-kilometer road contract on the Wahamile stretch in the Upper West region. That contract is worth 28 million Ghana cedis, and the contractor is being considered for sole sourcing. The sector minister, Inus Afuseni, explains why this contractor is being handpicked for the contract.
Now, Kanazwe is in Burkina Faso. His equipment is finished to the prophecy. He's demobilized and his equipment is in Burkina Faso. He will quickly mobilize and come down by reason of the close proximity of the Hamle area to Burkina Faso. 2, he has a record of good work in Ghana. and he knows the terrain.
According to Section 40 of the Public Procurement Law, the minister's reasons do not form part of the conditions that allow for the award of contracts through sole sourcing. This raises more questions why this method is being considered, especially when the beneficiary is the same contractor who gave President Mahama a brand new Ford Expedition. For Joy News, Manasseh Azore Arene reporting.
Right, so indeed, that piece you just saw, Gift of a Ford, was put together by Manasseh Azure. When I told you that government has reacted to it, and I'm bringing you that reaction right now. So it's a communique that's coming from the Ministry of Communications and says, Ministry of Communications refutes false claims against President Mahama. And it reads as a two-paged document, but I'll read you just the first paragraph of it. It says, the Ministry of Communications has noted the content of a program aired on Joy FM this morning. The program sought to link a vehicle presented to the president in 2012 to two contracts awarded to a Burkinabe-owned construction firm. The said vehicle, which was placed in the vehicle pool at the presidency as per established convention, had nothing to do with the award of the contract. So here, the statement confirms that indeed the president or the Flagstaff House has taken receipt of that said vehicle. It continues, the inference of conflict of interest is therefore absolutely false and untenable, it says. Right, so it continues to tell us or give us the facts about the construction works and how the contract was awarded, the two contracts were awarded. You can go to our Facebook page and it is available there. Otherwise, you can also go to myjoyonline.com and you can get that full statement. We're taking a break. We have lots of reactions to this coming up thereafter. Please don't go away. Right, you're watching Joy News Prime, and opinions are divided among some members of parliament as to whether the president's acceptance of a vehicle from a Burkinabe contractor constitutes a bribe. Whilst members on the minority side are condemning the president and demanding thorough investigation, their governing party colleagues see nothing wrong because the said vehicle is being put to use by the state. In Parliament Wednesday, ranking member on the Legal and Constitutional Committee, Joe Osei-Usu, says the development is enough grounds for impeachment.
What does it constitute for you?
Well, it's bribery. There's no such thing as a gift in this circumstance. If the story as put out by Azure is true, it started from a contractor seeking favors, getting the favors, getting big contracts, and then paying back. It's a kickback, so there's no issue about, but it is a bribe. And that has been the case. There's no other thing.
If it's a bribe, then it constitutes grounds for impeachment.
Yes, it does.
Is it an issue you may want to take up?
Not yet. You have to put all the facts together so far, what I've read and what I've heard. You need the documentary evidence that are in the hands of Azure before you can constitute a proper case together. But it's something worth considering.
Now, Jibril Kanazoe's name first popped up during a Public Accounts Committee hearing where the Bank of Ghana was queried about an amount of $650,000 used for the construction of a perimeter wall at the Ghana Embassy in Burkina Faso. That contract was executed by Mr. Kanazoe's firm. Member of the Public Accounts Committee, George Lowe, who brought the issue up, however, says the president did no wrong in accepting the gift.
I wonder what constitutes a bribe and how the whole concept of bribery comes in. There's been conventions over time that occasionally the president receives gifts on behalf of the people of Ghana. And there's, like I said, copious President Rawlings has received gifts. In fact, President Kufuor has received gifts. You remember that the famous accident that he had, he was driving in a car I believe was provided as a gift from Gaddafi, the Libya president. And there have been other gifts. He has even had a gift in a form of a construction of a wall to his residence.
That was formally disclosed by the former president's office.
Yeah, but who said
that the gift came from the former Libyan leader?
Yeah, I'm saying that this has also, as you can see, there's every documentation to the fact that they said vehicle has been brought in and given to as part of the presidential fleet. So really, it's nothing. It's not like a personal gift that the president has received. It's a gift that has been given to the president. You know that whilst in office by law, every gift that the president receives is for the state, and therefore the president did the right thing by keeping it within the space.
Is he meant to disclose the gifts after receiving it publicly?
No. You see, you don't do that. You know that gifts
keep it as a secret?
No, not a secret. But when you come, you just give it to the office, the institution of the president. Don't forget that even gifts in forms of clothing and all those things that the president receives remain the property of the state.
But his colleague on the committee, Isaac Kwame Esiama, thinks otherwise.
It's a clear evidence. So for some of us, and if you study what happened in Brazil, that led to the impeachment of their former president. It's clear case here that there's a president who all these years has lied to Ghanaians, and today he has been exposed big time. He has been exposed. What was the motivation for him getting that vehicle? What was the motivation? There's a gentleman who gets constantly government contracts. It's a gentleman who has been winning all the bits. I mean, sometimes it's so awesome. Many contracts have been given to him on so awesome. This man buys you a brand new expedition for the expedition, and you tell me it's not bribe. The president has been exposed.
But no, I'm asking because according to the information we picked from the communications ministry, the vehicle accepted was given to the state.
When did they come out with this information? After he had been exposed, clearly. Was this information available to you?
So you think this is a smoke screen?
This information was not available to you. They are only trying to polish it so that it looks so good. But whatever the case is, there is a president who told BBC that he has never taken bribe. Today, I'm telling that he has taken bribe before.
So as you realize, depending on where you stand, some people will condemn the president and others will justify the receipt of the bribe. But this is what the president himself had to say in 2013 when he launched the Code of Conduct, meant to guide government appointees and officials, including himself.
The Code of Ethics for ministers and political appointees reflects government's vision to maintain a clean government imbued with systems and clear procedures and guidelines for performance and delivery. This code of ethics must be seen as a strong prima facie reason to err on the side of caution, especially in situations of ethical conflict. This manual is the first edition of our commitment to high moral, ethical, and delivery standards. It bears my utmost convictions and onerous responsibilities as President to lead and carry all of you along with me in this solemn oath to uphold the public interest over all other considerations. This must therefore be seen as an expression of my abhorrence of unacceptable behavior by government officials and indeed amongst the generality of our population. As President, my view is that corruption must be prosecuted when detected. But first and foremost, we must prioritize prevention of corruption. We must put the systems in place that prevent people from acting in a corrupt manner, or that when they have acted in such manner, they are promptly identified and dealt with. One of the most important ways to prevent unacceptable conduct and abuse of office by public officials is to demarcate the ethical boundaries within which the actions, inactions, and decisions taken by any of us can be deemed to be acceptable or unacceptable.
Watching Joy News Prime. Up next, we bring you